morning, Grace Fellowship Church. I'm indeed honored to be with you today with my brother Mark to talk to you about Grace Fellowship Church and the dream that God is realizing in our midst. 1 year ago, around this time, I spoke to you about the expansion of Grace Fellowship Church and the whole of the York Regional Dream Center. Today, Mark and I are with you with excited hearts, with full hearts, to tell you about what the Lord is doing and to invite you to participate with us to a greater extent as He continues to build His kingdom by bringing more people in, building them up, and sending them out.
Let's go to the other side of the wall and see what's in process.
Well, here we are. We're on the other side of the wall. Mark, why don't you tell them a little bit about what's happening here?
Okay, we've often talked about how the wall is going to come down the auditorium. Well, here's another wall that's going to be coming down. The wall that we were just standing in front of is going to be removed. It's going to open up. When you walk in, there's going to be an expanded entrance, much larger lobby. And right over here is a new cafe that's going to provide even more capacity than what we currently have in our cafe.
So the current cafe is going to stay in place.
Yes.
We're going to keep that one, but because on Sundays that cafe is such an active and bottleneck kind of place, we've created another space now for people to come in, have a cup of coffee, be able to watch services, and actually right behind the kitchen too, right?
Yes, absolutely. And this will provide, again, ministry time, not just on Sunday mornings, but throughout the week. There's lots of times that the cafes are used, and again, this will be additional capacity.
Fantastic. Well, let's keep showing.
Okay, very good.
So as Mark mentioned, this whole wall is coming down, and right now we are standing in front of the new entrances to the auditorium, right, Mark? That's correct. So these two double doors are going to be an entryway into a whole new section. That's part of the auditorium.
That's right.
Yep. Fantastic.
Let's go ahead and take a look.
So here we are in the auditorium expansion space, and Mark, we're standing on the stage right now, correct?
That's correct. We're right at the front edge of the new stage, and behind us, the seating capacity adds between 500 and 600 additional seats. So it's going to be at one point, we'll have both these areas combined together, that all will be part of one worship, hear one word, and it's just amazing to see what God is doing and how more and more people can be reached through this place of worship.
Absolutely. And so what we're looking at then is additional seating that would add up to possibly 1,200 plus seats, right?
That's correct.
Folks, fantastic.
So this is the main auditorium, but let's go and take a look at what's going to be the new mini auditorium.
So Mark, we're standing outside the auditorium now in a new hallway that's been created, but there's several things going on in this area. Could you tell us a little bit about what's happening? Sure.
Right here is the cry room, which is off the back of the main auditorium. There's two windows that connect this space to the auditorium so that parents can bring in very young children and still be connected to the service, but yet separate from it. So it's good.
And what about behind us here? What's going on?
Okay, we have something that everybody will be happy for. It's additional restroom facilities. We have a men's room and a ladies' room back here. And then right over here is the new entrance to the mini auditorium. We'll go take a look.
So we're currently standing in what we call a mini auditorium. This is a multi-purpose space, but it's primarily a dedicated space for youth ministry. The youth ministry has been meeting in the old garden center, if you remember what the Kmart had here, but they've outgrown that space. And this space is going to be a wonderful space for youth ministry on Wednesday night, for special events, and then also for children's ministry to use on a Sunday morning. Mark, what can you tell us about the space in terms of capacity?
The capacity, calling it a mini auditorium almost doesn't quite seem accurate. It has capacity to seat over 300 people, as well as have a ministry area in the back. Plus it's going to be able to be converted for a space where people can eat at tables and have different kinds of meetings, as you said, like student ministries are using the area.
Absolutely. So band brothers and some women's ministry type things, so on and so forth. As long as it doesn't conflict with youth ministry, we want to make that very clear. This is the dedicated space for youth ministry, but when they're not using it, other ministries can use it as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And this way we don't have to try and put 200 people in a space of 1,200.
Yes.
Fantastic. Where do you want to get?
Let's go to the new office area.
Yeah, that's great. We need offices instead of offices. So this space is a desperately needed space for Grace Fellowship Church. When we did the first build out, we didn't ever anticipated that the staff would grow as large as it has. And our staff now is well over 50 people, and we don't really have places for people to be. So this is going to be office space, but creatively used. Mark, why don't you tell them a little bit about what we're doing here?
So this space will be used both for the hired in volunteer staff. And the place where we are right now is going to be an open space that will have cubicles that have been generously donated to the church, and then we'll have separate offices down through that area as well. Again, all very much needed space.
Absolutely. And a shower back here too, from what I understand. So many of the performing artists that we have come to Grace Fellowship Church often require a shower in this space, and we'll actually have a shower back here.
Yep, that's right.
Fantastic. So where are we going next?
Well, this pretty well wraps up the expansion of that's on the other side of the wall. We're now going to go down to the adult education space that's just down the way.
Fantastic. So what we're standing in now is the adult education spaces, and this has been a desperate need for Grace Fellowship Church for a long time. We've had classrooms, of course, that we could use for discipleship and classes that we want to teach, helping people to grow closer to the Lord that way. But we haven't had space that was available on a Sunday morning. And what's exciting about this space is that we'll now have 2 front classrooms, right, Mark? Divided here, and then also a large back classroom. You can tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. The hallway that we're standing in is going to go front to back, and the back classroom is actually an open space. It has an open ceiling, and it's the largest space here, which is going to be great for multi-purpose. The gym has been looking forward to having additional space to use for classes, and this is located right next to the gym and will be very, very practical for that.
Fantastic, because the gym is actually using the church now for some of the classes, correct? Larger classes, so there'll be an opportunity for them to use space in here. We also have some bathrooms, I think, going in this space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always essential. Grace Fellowship Church, we couldn't be more excited to be a part of what the Lord is doing here at Grace in the York Regional Dream Center, around the region and around the world. He is building His kingdom, His church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. We want to thank you for the part that you are playing. Thank you so much for your generosity that has already been extended and is yet to come. And that generosity is being used by the Lord to develop these spaces so more and more can come to know His love. Mark, why don't we just take a few minutes now, just let's dedicate this space to the Lord.
That'd be great.
Let's do it. Would you pray for us, brother? Pray after me.
Father, thank you so much for your goodness. God, we thank you that you have provided these facilities and what's happening with the expansion. But God, we thank you that it's not about building, it's about people's lives that are being touched and being changed by your power. And God, we thank you that you've allowed us to be part of it. And God, we thank you that what we do together is so much greater than any of us can do separately. And God, we thank you that you've allowed us to be something bigger, so much bigger than any one of us. And we just give you praise and we give you thanks for that.
Father, we thank you that you promises that you will do more than we could ever ask or imagine. And when we look at the reality of what's happening around us, often Mark and I and many others feel like we have to pinch ourselves because we just can't believe what you've already done. And at the same time, Lord, we profess to you today that you are just getting started. So thank you so much, Lord, for providing the next right steps for us. As Mark so beautifully said, this has never been about a building. It's always been about people, but most of all about a person. And that person is you, Lord Jesus Christ. We give you all the honor, all the glory, and all the praise. And all God's people said, amen. God bless you, Grace Fellowship Church. Thank you so much for being with us today.